Yo, what is happening, ladies and gentlemen? Good evening. I hope you are all well today. Bitcoin has been misbehaving today, and that's why I'm doing this video today for you, so that you have an understanding of what to expect coming into the weekend. At the same time, I'm going to kill two birds with one stone and give you a HODLRS update on what we can expect from Bitcoin in the near future. So guys, let's just dive into what had happened today. Look at the New York session. Do not be fooled by it. This is nothing that we haven't seen before, ladies and gentlemen. Go down to the smaller time frames and you can see it bright as day. You can see at the start of the New York session, you've got 1, 2, 3 hits to the high. Green vector, blue vector candle is a stopping volume candle. They come back down, they hold the range again with another stopping volume candle, preventing price from going any higher. Retail trader steps in on the idea that they're buying the dip on this move right here. Bitcoin likely to come back up into the range. They come up and spike it one more time for them to only rip the range to the downside yet again. But we need to understand something. The signs were already there. Look at the 1 hour time frame. The Sydney session itself came back down and hit the blue vector candle. Okay? Once they had initiated the move to the upside, ladies and gentlemen, we had this area right here for them to come back into. But more importantly, the signs were there when we were looking for this big wick right here, which they always end up coming back into. Let me play you a little video that I sent over to the Patreons last night and making them understand why we've always got to be cautious when vector candles are not recovered straight away. Check this out. We are now above at a premium. How long for is the question. Okay? We've got this blue vector candle. So here is a likely scenario. Okay? Price may come back down to recover this point. If they recover this blue vector candle first, okay, then we may see a little bit of a recovery back up for them to come back down again to consolidate in this zone. And then weekend, we would see them try and come back up into the range again. Okay? So there you have it. What was it that we understood about this? Now, you also have to understand that we may get them to come back down towards this point. They may come back up. They may continue down lower. Why am I saying may? Likely. Supposedly. Because this is the game of probabilities, and the more you align yourself with thinking in terms of probabilities, you eliminate the idea of missing out on a potential move, or being scared about something, or being so optimistic about something. Keeping your mind aligned in terms of probabilities is going to help you exploit certain plays, because you would say to yourself, if I were to run a short in this area here, price would need to come up towards this point in the chart right here, ladies and gentlemen, to say that I was wrong about the move. And as long as it doesn't do that, my trade is good. We go over to the chart itself and we witness that they did fulfill that structure in the charts, ladies and gentlemen. You have the move up, you have the move down, you have the consolidation back up again, and then you have the move back down again. Here's the image one, and there's the second image right there. The journey has been played out. They come into the blue vector. They come back into the wick. You see, these are adverts by the market maker. They are advertising imbalances in the chart where the price needs to go back to finalize the zone. There was an influx of traders right here that went long. They had set up their liquidations, their margins that were required to go long from this point, and Mr. Market Maker made them pay the price. He ripped it back down into the range. Okay? What I'm trying to say to you guys is this. When you have the hybrid system and you are considering taking a trade, always consider the environment that you are in. What's the narrative saying? Look at the highs. 1, above the 200. 2, again the 200. 3, the 200 EMA. Can't get above it. Even if they made their way over this 50 EMA, they would need to have a strong confirmation to break through the 200 to retrace back into it to continue higher again. The psychological low would have been the point in the chart that you would have been paying attention to and saying, right, if they can't clear this zone, I'm going to run for the shorts, because the momentum was showing that price was going lower anyway. We had the vector candle here and we had this vector candle here as well, which they recovered. And then, of course, we had these two zones right here. The game of trading can be as difficult or as simple as you want it to be. If you to simply take one aspect of the hybrid, and that is I'm going to only trade bounces off the 50 EMA, then you would be given many opportunities. Okay? Remember when you hear me saying to you guys that price comes back to the 50 or the 50 goes back to price? So what that narrative means is whenever price moves away from a moving average, okay, but the price then comes back up into the moving average and the moving average itself hasn't even adjusted, okay, it tells you that the momentum is still present in the chart, because what had happened is the market itself had come down to a point, and then of course the moving average was in this zone right here. Sorry, the moving average is right here, okay? Naturally, when you see price drop down lower, the further that they drop, the steeper the actual moving average becomes. And then when price starts to consolidate, the moving average then comes closer and closer to price, which would imply that the actual momentum is dead. There's nothing left for it. All right? But when you do get the idea of price moving down lower and then instantly comes back up into the moving average, the momentum is still present, and it's at this point right here where you'll get information as to whether or not the momentum is going to continue to the downside or it's going to be used to break through the 50. Okay? In this instance, they came back up into the 50 EMA. And in the US session, the Brinks box, the first 1 hour and a half of trading confirmed the move and then ripped it to the downside. The US then initiates a nice little reversal, bang at the lows, shift back up. What do we say about New York? 2 reversals. 1, 2. Okay? I hope that makes sense for you, ladies and gentlemen. Okay? Now, if you haven't decided that the hybrid system is going to be a system that works for you, all I can say to you that you need to give it time, because we keep saying the same thing over and over again. It's always going to be the Brinks box. If you're going to trade at a certain time, you trade at the US Brinks box, because this is where the setup begins. Okay? Now, if we zoom out on the charts, ladies and gentlemen, jump over to the daily time frame for my holders, these guys are going to be asking the question, well, what's the story? Well, look, we are now trading below the range of the 29 zone. All week we have been stuck in this 30 to 29 range. If you're going to be picking up more Bitcoin, DCA, and you want to get it cheaper and cheaper, there's still probably more time for you to get it cheaper, ladies and gentlemen. We've got 1 stopping volume candle. We've got 2 stopping volume candles, okay? During the weekend, they may bleed price into this range, ladies and gentlemen. I advise that you be careful during the weekends because it's the most volatile time in crypto because there's no liquidity there. So just be careful with that. If you see any profits in the weekend, take them. Okay? Because you would call that as a time trading outside of the market hours. Next week, we have bank holidays, especially in the UK for the Jubilee. So we're going to be down pools of liquidity anyway. So we may get light trading, but a lot of volatility. So please be careful. Going into the weekly time frame for Bitcoin, you can see that it is still working its range and coming closer and closer into these pools of liquidity. That makes sense with the way that they are behaving on the smaller time frames, ladies and gentlemen, because what is going on is Mr. Market Maker knows that he's going to be going down lower, yet he brings price up to commit traders long so that they can add more margin to the lows in the chart, so that he can then hit those margins right there, which we'll be understanding as a liquidation point, so that he can utilize that liquidity to close off his shorts and build longs at the same time. Is that Steve? Oh my God. Hello, Steve? Steve? That is bizarre. Why is he calling me? Very interesting. Steve never calls me at this time. I'll have to call him back. Steve is a market maker, ladies and gentlemen, and you know what Steve's like. It's very rare for Steve to call me now. Anyways, let's just quickly have a look across the board to make sense of Bitcoin's behavior. If you look at the NASDAQ has been trading perfectly, absolutely phenomenal with this move to the upside. Remember when I say to you that the marketplace tends to absorb the idea of all the negativity and it prices it already into the charts. So does this mean that the Nasdaq is going to continue higher? Maybe. If you look on the daily time frame, you can see bright as day that the Nasdaq is doing a great job of running to the upside. Now, in principle of stocks, what we're looking for is we're looking for another day of trading positive, all right, for us to understand that they may be finalizing a move to the upside. Okay, but we still got the problem of the 50 EMA on the moving average. Remember what I said to you in the video this week? That is no point in going long when the 50 EMA is nearby for you to anticipate higher price action, because at the 50 EMA, they may actually bring it back down again. Remember what I just spoke to you about the strength of the moving average and relation to momentum. You can see that they've got quite big strength to move price down lower, yet when they reverse price back up towards the moving average, it's going to be at that point where we will understand if the momentum is going to be favored to come back down again. Okay, because the moving average hasn't changed. This move back up over the past 3 days itself has shown strength for the Nasdaq to come back up. This could be a turning point for the Nasdaq, which could also be a turning point for Bitcoin. Okay, the S&P itself is doing exactly the same thing. It's coming up towards that 50. You've got that red vector candle right there. Now, if they can break above this point right here, that's great news for us, because we would know that Bitcoin is going to try and do the same. But the problem is the Nasdaq closes very shortly, ladies and gentlemen, but Bitcoin doesn't. So Bitcoin might come back down towards these pools of liquidity by Monday for them to initiate a reversal next week. So we've got to be careful with the weekends, ladies and gentlemen. Be very careful with the weekends. I hope that makes sense to you guys. I want to try and keep it short and sweet. If it is short and sweet, I don't know, roughly about, it's about 10 minutes long. But I'll be catching up with you guys tomorrow as well. I'm going to be doing a video tomorrow on certain price action concepts within the hybrid system, so that you guys have something to roll with during the weekend, so that you can go back in the charts and apply it to your trading as well. But listen, if you are new to the channel, be sure to like and subscribe. And if you are going to consider joining the Patreon, don't do it at this side of the month. Wait until the start of a new month so that you're not charged twice. All right? Pattern watchers, it has been a pleasure. Go and enjoy your weekends, and I will check in with you all tomorrow. Mad love and respect to you. Peace.